What makes a suicide bomber? Is there an index of despair? The sense that your life and the lives of others mean nothing? Decades lived in a refugee camp? The 1,000 promises, siren calls of better tomorrows? It is impossible for people from the first world to understand the sense of loss and alienation of the refugee camps. I can't, you can't, we can't condone suicide bombing. It is inhuman, the killing of innocent people. I don't want Israeli families to die on the way to buy an ice cream in Tel Aviv. I don't want Palestinian women and children to die as innocent victims of targeted assassination attacks. I don't want children growing up hating Palestinians, and I don't want my grandchildren growing up hating Israelis. Let me read to you from the diary of a boy I knew in the camp. His name was Ahmed. He was 14. I don't know what happened to him. On Holocaust Day, the soldiers smashed in our door and ordered all males over 12 out into the middle of the square. We were in pajamas and it was freezing. One of the border guards screamed, "If I find women and children outside, I will kick their asses one by one." After about 3 hours, some of the guards were drunk. They ordered 2 old men to urinate on each other. Then they made my friend Yunus shit on his father. They beat me and made me crawl on the ground and lick the earth. When it started to get light, we had to write numbers on our hands in memory of the Jews in the extermination camps. An IDF officer got on the back of a truck. "There are 2 alternatives, to live with you or destroy you. Personally, I hate the Arab. You stink. You sleep with goats. We will destroy you. Our policy is meter after meter, goat after goat, olive grove after olive grove. We will vaporize and turn you to gas." The soldiers came back 3 weeks later after a rocket attack had been made from near our house. They fired 18 bullets through our front door. They hit my mother and my brother, Yaqub. They both fell to the floor. My father called everyone he could to take them to hospital, but there was no one to help us. They were dying. When an ambulance came, an Israeli officer refused permission for it to enter the street. So for 30 hours we lived with their bodies. My father put the young children into the bathroom so they could not see the corpses. What response can I have? Shall I come keening out of the desert like an Old Testament warrior, lusting to kill until the desert blooms with my enemy's blood? Shall I be a cold-eyed avenger, slashing the throat of my enemy's wife, gouging out the eyes of his children, cleaving the bodies of his parents, and hanging him high on a gallows on the hills of Judea, leaving his body for the carrion while the nation weeps? Or shall I submit cravenly, like a sheep to the knife? Shall I become a Samid, one who waits amidst the mayhem, whilst the Zionists circle their prey? Can I be a steadfast one, waiting in what's left? A barren vista of barbed wire, where cold-eyed men in steel helmets allow me to become a miserable beast of burden, building a new Jerusalem for the Zionists. In the night, faces, voices, images flash before me. I sweat and turn on my bed. I dream nightmares. The terrorist, Ariel Sharon, looms, ugly, leering, cruel, his mouth twisted in contempt against the Arab, surrounded by thugs whose smooth faces betray no twinge of conscience. And as I wait, my space becomes a prison, with padlocks on the doors and windows, a small, sweaty room shared with my family. But still the strangers come like wraiths walking through walls. I fade away, try to become invisible, ignore their presence, crawling around as if the room was mine forever. The faces of my family turn an ugly grey. Their eyes suspicious slits. They hunch their shoulders and they nurse their trembling hands. We sit in humiliating subservience. The air is fetid in our corner, but not theirs. The strangers move freely. They are very loud and excitable. But I cling to my corner like a limpet. To leave is death, exile. And in a corner of my dream lurks the world's feeble, watery-eyed politicians, wringing their hands because the occupation is ruining their looks. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him. The stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself.